10 surprising things you didn't know about your heart. Part 1. The heart doesn't just beat, it remembers, reacts, and loves. Have you ever wondered what your heart is thinking? It sounds strange. But wait. Don't just think it's poetic. Modern science is gradually lifting the veil of mystery around this tiny organ, which we often call by the simple name, heart. But the heart is not simple at all. 1. The heart can remember, and sometimes has a will of its own. We often think of emotions as the brain's job. But the truth is that the heart also stores its own nerve signals, independent of the brain. In 1991, Dr. Armour, a Canadian physiologist, discovered that the heart has a network of about 40,000 neurons, called the little brain of the heart. It not only receives commands from the brain, but also responds, adjusts, and sometimes decides how to react on its own. Heart transplant patients have reported that they suddenly love foods, songs, or even emotions that were not theirs before. Scientists call this phenomenon cellular memory. And if that's true, does the heart have its own way of remembering and telling stories? 2. Your heart hears emotions, and it reacts even before you realize it. In a study by the HeartMath Institute, scientists discovered something very strange. The heart can react to an emotional image seconds before it appears. Simply put, your heart feels before your brain understands. This is not a mystery. This is science catching up to something that humans have always sensed. When our heart beats fast and we don't know why. When your gut tells you something is wrong. It could be your heart speaking first. 3. The heart actually talks to the brain, and quite a lot. We often think of the brain as the boss. But in the heart-brain relationship, information from the heart to the brain is transmitted 3 times more than the other way around. And it's not just the heartbeat. The heart affects the areas that process emotions, decision-making, and even intuition. When the heart beats rhythmically, the brain is clearer, and the ability to remember, focus, and behave improves significantly. In other words, the state of your heart can shape the way you live, love, and decide. 4. The heart never rests, and every beat is a commitment. When you sleep, your heart is still working. When you have a broken heart, it still sobs. When you are happy, sad, in pain, or in love, the heart still persists in doing what it does best, keeping you alive. An average heart beats about 100,000 times a day, and nearly 3 billion times in a lifetime. It does not complain, does not get tired, it just silently beats the rhythm of your life. Every beat, every moment you are still present in this world, is thanks to it. And perhaps that is why for generations, people have always believed that love is not in the mind, but in the heart. Conclusion of Part 1. In us, the heart is not just a pump. It is the drum of life, the place where the first emotions, the first vibrations of life are kept, and sometimes, the place to keep things that we cannot name. But that is just the beginning. Part 2. When the heart knows pain, loneliness, and needs to be healed. In the first part, we saw that the heart is not just a biological organ, it is also a living entity, with memory, intuition, even its own language. But what is even more strange is that the heart can hurt, be lonely, and sometimes hurt like a child. 5. The heart can really hurt, not just a feeling. Have you ever heard someone say, "My heart ached when I heard the news," or "My heart felt like it was breaking"? It sounds like a metaphor. But in fact, medicine has recognized a real syndrome, called Takotsubo cardiomyopathy, also known as broken heart syndrome. It occurs when an emotional shock is too great, such as losing a loved one, breaking up, or even witnessing an accident, causes the heart to contract violently, like a heart attack, even though there is no blockage in the blood vessels. The echocardiogram at that time showed the heart chambers were swollen, like a Japanese ceramic vase, called Takotsubo. This shows, the heart does not just listen to the brain. It feels pain. It is hurt. And it needs time to heal, just like a broken heart. 6. Hugs, looks, and connections can really heal the heart. When you hug someone tightly, or when you hold the hand of a loved one, you may not know it, but your heart is changing. Specifically, studies show that when we feel loved, our heart rate becomes more stable, our blood pressure drops, and our body secretes oxytocin, the hormone of bonding. What is special is that these effects do not last for just a few minutes. They can help restore the cardiovascular system, reduce the risk of stroke and even the risk of premature death. A Harvard study followed more than 700 people for 75 years. The results showed not money, fame, or intelligence, but close relationships and emotional quality are the most important factors in life. Help people live long and healthy. The heart, thought to be strong, turns out to be so fragile. 7. The heart reflects sadness and loneliness, not only through emotions, but also physiology. Loneliness is not just a feeling. It is a biological state, and your heart is the first to suffer the consequences. When you are lonely for a long time, your heart increases the secretion of the hormone cortisol, a stress hormone, causing an abnormally high heart rate, constricting blood vessels, increasing pressure on the heart wall. Gradually, this increases the risk of high blood pressure, arrhythmia, and even stroke. Loneliness, if prolonged, can be as dangerous to the heart as smoking or diabetes. And the irony is, in the age of hyperconnectivity, people are lonelier than ever. The heart is beating, but beating in the void. Beating without anyone hearing. And sometimes, that is the real pain. 8. Your heart rate can sync with your next one, literally. Imagine, you're hugging your loved one. Two hearts, seemingly separate, but slowly begin to beat as one. This isn't poetry. Researchers from the University of California measured the heart rates of couples in love while they sat quietly, looked at each other, or held hands. The results showed. After just a few minutes, their heartbeats and breathing began to eerily synchronize. No words needed. Just be present. And hearts will find each other in their own way. Conclusion of Part 2. The heart is not a machine. It is a living, emotional being, capable of being hurt and in need of care, with love, with presence, with gentle but sincere touches. In the next part, you will learn. Why does your heart slow down and then speed up? Why is an irregular heartbeat a worrying sign? And can we train the heart to beat in a healthier way? The heart is speaking. Can you hear it? Part 3. When the heart speaks, the beats speak for life. The voice gradually goes deeper, like a confession at the end of the day, where the truth is no longer hidden. In the previous 2 parts, we saw a very different heart. A heart that knows how to remember, how to hurt, can be lonely, and is in tune with others without words. But the heart is also a living being, always working persistently, constantly sending signals like a beacon in the night. The question is, are we quiet enough to recognize that call? 9. Heartbeat reveals more than you think, and arrhythmia is not just a disease. Have you ever felt your heart beating irregularly? As if it were racing, then running out of breath? Many people panic, immediately thinking of a medical condition. But sometimes, arrhythmia is just the way the heart reacts to emotions. When you are excited, your heart beats faster. When you are anxious, it beats faster and out of sync. The more intense the emotion, the more likely your heart is to skip a beat. The problem is, if your heart rate doesn't return to normal after you calm down, that's a warning sign. Some arrhythmias, like atrial fibrillation, can happen silently, no pain, no shortness of breath, just a slightly strange feeling in your chest. But if left unchecked, it can cause a stroke and leave irreversible consequences. So, don't take the feeling of your heart missing a beat lightly. It could be its last whisper before going silent forever. 10. You can train your heart, not with muscles, but with life. The good news is, your heart is not just a muscle. It can adapt, regenerate, and become smarter if you know how to live. A concept scientists call heart rate variability, HRV, shows the heart's ability to adjust its rhythm to the state of the body. High HRV means your heart is flexible, responsive, like a dancer who knows how to retreat and advance at the right time. Low HRV Your heart beats regularly but lacks flexibility, like an old machine that only knows how to run at one speed. And the great thing is, you can increase your HRV simply by slowing down your breathing, meditating, or living in a less stressful environment. Just a few minutes a day. No drugs. No surgery. Just give your heart some breathing room. In fact, every day, your heart still wants you to stop. Close your eyes. Put your hand on your chest. And ask it, how did you live today? And the last thing, the 11th thing that is not on the list, but is in each of us. The heart is not just for living. The heart is for feeling. Its job is not just to pump blood, but to give life. It beats not only to maintain existence, but also to remind you that you can still love, still cry, still vibrate. You are still alive. Conclusion of the series. We often measure the heart by its beats. But human life is not only measured by the number of times the heart beats, but by the times the heart is truly touched. So, when you finish this video, try something small. Send a message to someone you miss, hug someone you love, or simply close your eyes and listen to your heartbeat. And thank it, because all these years, it has never stopped loving you. Thank you for going through the journey of 10 surprising things about the heart. If you found this video touching something in your heart, give your heart a reason to keep beating, stronger and more meaningful. See you again on other deep journeys, where people are not only understood, but also connected.